long time now.
All right, folks, I want to call the meeting to order. This first part of the meeting is going to be a public hearing. So having convened and called a public hearing for the purpose of discussion around the Greenville County Program 2016 Annual Action Plan. This is an opportunity for the City of Greer to participate with the Greenville County Community Development Block Grant Program and the Home Investment Partnerships Programs funded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The Greenville County Redevelopment Authority is preparing its annual action plan for the 2016 program year. This public hearing has been called and convened here at the Greer City Hall, located at 301 East Poinsett Street on Thursday, March the 8th, 2016 at 6:30. Community development and housing needs and activities eligible for funding under the CDBG and home programs will be discussed during the public hearing. Public comment and proposals will be invited on the county strategy for the City of Greer, including objectives and projected uses of funds. An estimated $263,713 in CDBG funds and $80,584 in home funds will be available to the city in July. An estimated $50,000 in CDBG program income and $160,000 in home program income are expected to become available through the program year. Comments are also invited on past and present housing and community development performances and needs. CDBG funds can be used to assist low and moderate income persons, prevent or eliminate slums and blight, or to meet an urgent community need where no other funding is available. Home funds are used to increase the supply of decent, safe, sanitary, and affordable housing for lower income persons. If you'd like to present your comments in written form, you may send them to Stan Wilson, Executive Director of the Greenville County Redevelopment Authority, at 301 University Ridge, Suite 2500, Greenville, SC 29601. Comments will be accepted in writing until Friday, March the 30th, 2016. I mentioned that Mr. Wilson is the Executive Director. We had hoped that he would be with us this evening, but has been prevented from joining us. But we will be ably assisted this evening by Ima Wabadu. And Ima has, I believe, been before us before, I think, if I'm not mistaken, has been here a time or two, and she serves as the Program Director for the GCRA. So we welcome Ima and the information that she'll bring us tonight, and look forward to hearing more about both programs and possibilities for us in the program year 2016. So the podium is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, dear residents. We really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to present the 2016 Annual Action Plan. The Annual Action Plan really is an application we do every year to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. That basically is talking about the funds that the county gets every year. Counties and urban counties, so we have an entitlement funds that come to the county. And based on the formula grant that HUD uses, we use it to distribute funding in all of the 5 participating municipalities, as well as the Owning Corp area. For the purpose of this night, we're going to be talking about City of Greer's funding. And the CDBG funding is basically can be used for several things. I have a little handout there for you. But I'll talk about in detail before I go further where the funds are going to be allocated this year. It could be used to do projects that benefit the whole neighborhood. That's like infrastructure, sidewalk, curbs, But for you to do that, that neighborhood must be what will determine as low moderate income area and has to have a qualifying census tract. However, if the area is not a low mod area, it doesn't mean you can't do the project. But what we'll do normally is like we survey the street, if it's road or whatever, we'll survey the street on income, which is basically not very invasive survey, just basically telling us the residents on the income range, and you just check off which one. If 51% of the sample size that we select or that residents in that area are low mod, we can do the project. That area becomes eligible to do the project. So that's why even if you're not low mod, we can still do this kind of projects. Another thing you could do is like, you could do housing-related projects. Could be owner-occupied rehab and emergency rehab. GCRA, we do have those programs. We have up to $25,000 if you're low mod and you're trying to fix your house, or we do emergency funding, which we can give from $5,000 to $10,000. That's a forgivable loan over 5 years. We really address like ADA, ramps, roof, things like that. So we do have a lot of seniors and people living with disability that use that program a lot. We can also use the program to do public service. And that's like things that relate to education, after school program, senior programs, nutrition, health. In the past, the city of Greer have always dedicated about 39 or 40% of their funds to help nonprofit agencies to do public service activities. And I'll talk a little bit about the program as well. You could also use it to do public facility. But that public facility, if it serves the whole neighborhood, if it's like going to be for everybody in that area, then that particular neighborhood must be low moderate income. However, if it's going to serve a targeted population, be it seniors or anything, you can place that facility anywhere that you want to. But if you have an existing facility and you want to address some ADA issues, you can use CDBG funds to do that as well. Another thing is, of course, we talked about slum and blight, so we have substandard properties. We use it to demo a lot of properties. That really helps to address areas that are, to prevent blight, to provide opportunities for redevelopment. And we've done a lot of demolitions in the city of Greer. And it really helps to clean up areas where it prevents potential problems or people hiding in areas that you really don't want to deal with, and gives the opportunity for new development. Another thing that we've done in the past, and we've been very excited about that, is providing funding for economic development loan. When we did have our last HUD monitoring, the HUD director actually commended GCRA for doing this because felt that we were the only agency that started addressing providing business loans to people and also helping businesses in the central business district. Most people don't think about that impact improvement, providing jobs. The main thing is for those businesses, they must promise or show us that they're going to retain or create low-mod jobs. And we gave $25,000 to business owners, small business owners, and it could be for startup or operational users or things like that. We're not a bank, so we use a holistic method. We make sure we look at the drive of that person. We see your zeal, we see your excitement. So that way, it's not your credit scores. We see that you're going to be successful. Look at your history and look at your passion. And most of our businesses have been very successful. We really haven't had any loans that have defaulted, so that's a really great thing to see that's happening. So talking a little bit about the programs and funding for City of Greer. The city has a total of, or we're proposing a total of $554,297,000 for 2016. A little bit of disclaimer, we are using last current fiscal year allocation because we don't have confirmed numbers from HUD. So the grant funds that you'll be getting is based on last year's allocation. The changes is usually your program income, and program income comes as a basis of activities that you've had, interest that has accrued from existing projects. So we make sure we reinvest it back in the community as well. So out of all this, the total grant funds that City of Greer, based on 2015 allocation, going into 2016 is $263,703, and the program income for CDBG is $50,000. Home funds, it's really for the purpose of production or increase in supply of affordable housing. So you could do new construction, or you could do rehab, you could do rental, you could do homeownership units. And we've done a lot of projects, and I'll show you samples of some projects. We funded partner projects, we got funded projects. So When we got fund projects to nonprofits, it's always a loan, and it comes back again as program income, so you don't lose that funding. The home funds total proposed home grant is $80,000, 584, and we're anticipating $160,000 of program income. The program income you get in Greer is always constantly recycled throughout the year. You can talk about the projects we have in Creekside that uses it. We build, we sell, we build again, so continuous use. This is a pie chart of basically the same thing, giving you the percentages of all the breakdown and of what it's going to look like. And as you saw the funding, Elliot said that the city of Greer sets aside about $40,000 of its CDBG fund for public service. So this is a recommended breakdown of the funds based on the subrecipient application that we received, totaling $40,000 for six subrecipients, two of them being City of Greer, of course. We have a new application, which is Nehemiah Corporation. One of the things they're trying to do is, actually the one thing they want to do right now for the city is build 6 single-family detached housing in the Needmore community. And I'm going to give you, I don't have a pointer. But if you look at a section of, kind of in the middle that has some, right here. This is the Needmore master plan that we had done a while ago. And it's been one of our focus communities besides Creekside. We've done some projects. We said completed area, the Canteen Tremont project that was a partner project. And we've done a couple of houses. So right now, this year, the Nehemiah Corporation is proposing to build 6 detached housing units. Proposed request is $170,000. We usually underwrite all of our proposals, and looking at what they've done and proposed, GCRA staff and the board, the admin committee reviewed things and recommended $80,000 of the home funds for that, so that way they can find other funding sources. They're going to be applying to the State Housing Trust Fund as well as state home funds to complete the project. And I believe they do have some bank financing as well. The section that has in progress engineering, that's our Spring Street project. That's a project we want to continue to do. We started this year, actually got a $90,000 from the County Transportation Committee to do engineering and design. Right now, the project is currently under engineering phase. And once it's complete, we'll be coming back to the city to talk about the project and see, and also talk to CBW as well of potential relocation that we'll be talking about. And in doing that, we'll be talking about the right-of-ways that will also acquire the project. This project will be funded by the CDBG funds. You have past year funding that's carried over, plus this year's CDBG funds as well that will help to complete the project. The initial anticipated project costs almost about $800,000 or $900,000. Our goal is to go back to GLETC to help match the improvement. So we've always been doing like 50-50 to help us achieve most of what we're trying to do. So we will not be using, we'll save some money for CDBG for another project as well. My wife was looking at me. These are pictures of the past project that we completed. That's I showed you the section of the Tremont Canteen section that need more. So finished those 2 roads, right-of-way, stormwater, sidewalk, curbs. That was done, such a partnership project that was done with CPW approval as well, helping us with their relocation, and GLETC paying for half the project cost, which helped us to leverage a lot of the Greer CDBG funds. These are some projects that we've done, a couple of infill developments in Will and Forest Street as well. These are all homeownership units, and pretty much I believe they've been sold and occupied. This is the current project. This project is right now in the Needmore community. The stage is beyond what I have right now. I don't have a current picture of it. This is the Creekside map, and This is a nice partnership project that we did with the current United Housing Corporation. They used to be called Upstate Homeless Coalition. The center section that has those houses for current elderly houses that they built using the HUD 202 funding. And at that time, we got the nice stimulus funding that helped us to leverage the funds and do infrastructure, road, and the biodetention basin that was there. That was our first ever. So that really helped. So far, the red sections are the ones that we are responsible for. We're building single-family homeownership units. Right now, we've finished 4. We've sold 2. One other contract's about to close this month, and we have another one also ready. And really, the house is about $90,000 per unit. There are lots of 3-bedroom, 2 baths. They're really beautiful. So there's lots of privacy around it as well. So he likes to go out there. It's kind of the different stages from we're building the Creekside community. It used to be trailer homes that demolished, built some houses, did new roads, and basically changed the area. And one of the things that we make sure is like incorporate the designs of the elderly housing and also include other designs to make sure that they're very unique and different, and there's a nice community center that helps the community come together. I talked about these 2 properties have been sold. These are the first 2. Right now, these are the other 2. I believe the 620 is being sold. There's a contract for 624. It's still available. I talked about the owner-occupied rehab that we have. This is actually like an emergency rehab that we helped. Did the stairs and kitchen. Additional owner-occupied rehab, consider changes from the kitchen, floors, the bathrooms, and things like that. We also talked about facade improvement. That's really an excellent program that's been going on. We have a wonderful relationship with the city staff that helps us with making sure the review process goes very well. And they've really incorporated different designs and awnings and make the downtown area. This program actually provides up to $5,000 to business owners, and it's leveraged with their funds, and they ensure that they retain or create low-mark jobs. So in a nutshell, this is total funding that we have. But however, the process is still going on, and we really welcome comments or areas that you feel that you think you want us to address. It doesn't have to be the Needmore Creekside. It could be another area, something we can think about and put into the annual action plan as well. The goal is we'll collect all this. The resolution comes back to us at the end of March, and then it goes to the county council in April, final adoption by the council in May, and then final submission to HUD by mid-May.
Mr. Wabadu, would you be willing to entertain any questions that we might have at this point in time?
Sure.
Council, any questions, comments, anything that you'd like additional information on at this point in time?
Yes, the new homes that you construct for sale, you have any issues with getting them sold, or they sell pretty quick?
The other areas have been selling pretty quick. Creekside has just been a little slower than our normal process, partly because it's in the Spartanburg area, so the income for that is a little lower than Greenville County. So qualifying residents, it's been harder, and we'll like to get more, let more
In the
people
Needmore
know.
community.
Needmore community has, no, we really don't have a problem so far.
So why do you want to fund construction of rental homes instead of new construction owner-occupied homes?
Well, for most nonprofits, and I think the funding for them to get projects, most of the projects that's been funded has really been rental development for them, either because they still feel like people are still going through issues of getting mortgages. Their goal, actually, from their proposal is to lease for a period of time and then convert it. So, and to sell to either their current own people that they're leasing to or anybody. So they do have like a set period to convert that. But we look at it right now because it's coming to us as a rental development. And Nehemiah, in the past, we've done projects with them. They have maintained the projects that they developed with us. And because they're single-family detached, most people really don't know if it's rental or not, because a lot of they take care of the properties and all that. So we look at the developer, look at the history they've had. We'll see if they've been good managers of the properties as well. There's a lot of scarcity of rental housing as well. Not everybody's able to buy and not everybody's ready to buy. So we do get a lot of requests for rental development.
In Creekside, does that seem to be the only thing that's slowing it down there, is the clientele that you're looking to purchase those?
Yes, so we just haven't had, they kind of sit longer than our normal homeownership units in other Greenville County area.
Do you know if they normally leave the utilities on in those units?
Do we leave the utilities?
While they're selling them?
Yes, we do
Oh,
have,
okay.
yeah, we do, refrigerator and all that, we do have those.
Appliances,
And
okay.
unless we feel like we haven't had that in the community where we feel there's vandalism, but we haven't had that, so, but we do provide those, right, it's part of the package.
The senior units that you've completed in that Phase 1B, did you intend to do 1A first, and then just because there was a lot more, I guess, popularity for the senior housing, it just kind of picked up speed and went a little faster than you anticipated, and so that's what you're saying, is that the 1A just hasn't been as big of a hit in that area?
Right, but actually the way it came about was like we didn't build the rentals directly, one of our partners built that. And what happened was at that time, we did have the funding to do the infrastructure, and they got hard to money to build elderly senior housing. And the way 202 does is like it gives you the money to do everything. So there was a need for senior housing at that particular time, and still is. And the funding was to do everything. So it was such a great partnership. So we sold that section to them as part of their projects to the individual, kind of a separate unit, while we did the infrastructure. And the goal was for us to do the homeownership units while they did the rental.
How long are you going to wait? Let's just say that next year you come to us and this 1A hasn't moved beyond, it doesn't have the velocity that you're looking for. Have you considered transitioning to a project similar to Phase 1B?
Not at this time. When we talked about Creekside, we did come to the city saying that we're going to build homeownership units, and that hasn't changed. Of course, the market tends to shake a little bit to see if we want to, but we want to maintain homeownership units as well, to see, right? And it's really worked out well. And I think the mix of community with the seniors and homeowners with families has been working very well. It's just qualifying residents has been a challenge.
When you build rental units, what is the program income for the city in a rental?
In a rental income for the partners, when they do take the loan from us, say for instance, say it's $80,000, for nonprofits, it's given to them as a loan at 2%. So they start paying back the 2% for, it's going to be 20 years. So every payment they bring back to us, we'll put it back into the city coffers.
So we're making
it's
them
amortized.
basically a 20-year low-interest loan, and they get all the rental proceeds.
They get the rental proceeds, but they pay us back the portion of the loan.
All we get is our initial stake and a little bit of interest.
You get your proceeds on the loan that you've given to them, because the total project they have is almost $600,000, and the funding that we're providing to them is $80,000. So we'll be getting back 80 plus 2% interest rate for over 20 years. However, they're getting state funding, state home funds, and part of the state home funds is also a loan, and is a portion. They get a housing trust fund. Housing trust fund gives them a grant for 20, with affordability of 20 years. So the idea is having the affordability in place for the residents, and the portion of the loan part, they will pay back to state home. And state home does not pay everything because there's a maximum cap per unit cost. So I don't have a copy of it from, I think I had it. But so that
You
breaks down.
convert it to a purchase, we're just paid off.
They can pay it if you, I'm sorry, what did you say?
If it is converted to an ownership,
Yes.
whatever's owed us is just paid off at that
Right.
time.
Mhm. We'll have to do a recapture, resale, see how much they have to pay off at that time, depending on the time at which they're on, right.
Any idea how much one of those houses would rent for in Needmore?
They, in Needmore, they stated about, they had a different ratio, like some will be for people earning 50% up to 65%, and then they had an 80%. So it's going about 500 to 607.
And it's, depending on your income, it's
Yes.
subsidized.
Income and household size, right.
And all that goes to the nonprofit.
That goes to, I'm sorry, the rent,
Maya.
the Nehemiah gets to 80%, the cost, the construction cost. The rent itself will be people coming in to rent the properties. So each resident that occupies the house has to be whatever the income size proposed for that unit. And either they're going to pay $600 per month, and
To
to
Nehemiah.
whatever, right, to Nehemiah, and Nehemiah every month will pay us our money,
They'll pay loans, whenever
Yes.
they borrow the money.
right.
I got you. Thank you.
You mentioned their project, so they have, and you said 600,000, correct?
Right.
Now, that's $600,000 of construction in Needmore?
It comes with site acquisition, improvements, construction loan, everything. So you have to pay utility connection, so it's basically the whole
So,
development.
and
cost.
how many homes were they going, how many houses were they going to construct?
Right. It's a little over six.
$680,000 worth of construction for 6 homes, $115 apiece. Others? By a show of hand from the audience, is there any questions or comments at this point in time? I'll ask the second time. By show of hand, is there anyone that would like to ask a question of Ms. Nwabo in regards to the CDBG funds or the home program in the city of Greer? I'll ask a third and final time before closing the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to address Ms. Nwabo in regards to the public hearing that we've held this evening? Hearing none, the public hearing will be drawn to a close then. If you would, if you wish to leave in just a second, there may be someone that had a question that didn't want to ask in public. There may be somebody that would like to ask for some additional information, and if you could avail yourself for just a couple of minutes, that'd be great. All righty? Thank you for being with us this evening. We appreciate it. Thank you. Council, having called the public meeting to a close, I would like to pronounce that we are now going into our regularly scheduled Greer City Council meeting. This meeting was called and convened March 8, 2016. Having duly called the meeting together, I'd ask that you would join me as we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then the invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day and for the opportunities that have been availed to us. We count each and every one as a blessing. We thank you for your leadership, for your protection, your guidance and direction, especially for your mercy and grace and forgiveness of sin. Lord, we ask that we'll be mindful of your presence as we seek your guidance and the leadership as we seek to do what's best for the city. We thank you for these efforts that have spread across our city to help us address the needs of those that need adequate housing, and we thank you for this program. We ask that you be with us now through the rest of this meeting, and as we begin our workshop to consider programs that we will look at and things that we'll be concerned with as we go about our next year as well, too. We asked all these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
With that, then, we'll go to the public forum. Ms. Duncan, do we have anybody to appear in public forum?
No, sir.
Council, the minutes of the meeting from February 23rd are contained in your packet. I'll entertain a motion that they be received.
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Items of note for the clerk. Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert, Mayor Danner.
Yes. With that, we'll move to the administrator's report. Mr. Driggers?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, a couple of items to share with you this evening. One is that it is that time of year that we like to remind you regularly that our disclosure statements are due to the South Carolina Ethics Commission. Please note that those are due by March 30th. I won't say what the old date used to be because it may confuse us. So it has changed in the past, and so do be reminded that the ethics reports, the public disclosure statements are due to the state of South Carolina, to the State Ethics Commission, no later than March 30th. If there's anything that we can do to assist you with completing those, we're glad to do that as well. I do want to share some information with you that we received here in early 2016. Information that was shared with Mayor Danner and myself and members of our staff, but it's concerning our Certified Local Government program. The letter was addressed to Mayor Danner. It says, but the city of Greer is one of 35 local governments in South Carolina to achieve certified local government status. The status recognizes the historic preservation program that the city has in place and establishes a partnership for preservation among the local government, the State Historic Preservation Office, and the South Carolina Department of Archives and History, and the National Park Service. We are indeed fortunate that we have a wonderful staff led by Glenn Pace and the folks with our Historic Review group, but to be one of 35 local governments in the entire state of South Carolina, I think distinguishes us greatly, and we are pleased that we have gone through the evaluation and are continuing to be certified as a certified local government unit. So I wanted to share that information with you this evening as well. We do have a number of things that are coming up on our calendar, and as you are aware, we will spend some time this evening in workshop. We've moved things around a bit since we are in a week where there's a council meeting. We will conduct that part of the workshop that is required for us in executive session because we'll be dealing with a couple of economic development matters, a couple of legal updates as well, and a personnel matter. We will do those in executive session, but as part of workshop. So we would be requesting at the end of this meeting that we would adjourn the meeting, and then we would go into workshop setting, and then of course we will gather again on Wednesday and Thursday to conduct the remaining portion of the business part of those workshops as well. As you have seen from the communications that I've sent to you, it is a full agenda. It filled very, very quickly. And we apologize for that, but we are also very excited for the opportunity that we have over the next several days. Again, we'll spend a few hours this evening. We'll be together for about 12 hours tomorrow, and then we'll be together for about 6 hours or so on Thursday. So it is a very, very full agenda, and I thank you for your commitment to this process as we work through that. Couple of calendar items as well relative to programming with our department and the community, but our recreation department has their Egg-tastic Egg Hunt. That's going to be coming up on Saturday, March the 19th. As you know, we do that over at Century Park. We are looking forward to that event again this year. It is a wonderful, wonderful community event. Over 9,000 eggs are placed. I don't even know I can say hidden. They are placed, and infants through age 12 are involved in that program, but there will be inflatables and face painting and other activities for families and children there for that event as well. So I hope you're going to have an opportunity to come out and join us as a community for that wonderful event. Please note that our Chamber of Commerce is again this year sponsoring our public safety employees recognition and appreciation dinner. That will be taking place at the Cannon Center on March the 24th at 7 p.m. We invite all of our public safety individuals in the Greer community, not just us here at the city, but all of our partners that are involved in public safety here in the Greer community. And we are grateful again for our Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring that event. Again, March 24th is that date. Hope to see you at the city's table for that event that evening. The International Festival, sponsored also by our Recreation Department, will be taking place on Saturday, April the 9th. We had a good lead-in to that with our international community here having their gala last week here in the community as well. Mayor Danner was extremely involved in that. Some other folks had a chance to come and participate in that as well. He may have some additional comments later as we move forward on that. But our celebration, our International Festival here in Greer is on Saturday, April the 9th. Looking forward to that as well. Just as a matter of housekeeping, wanted you to be aware that we have completed the annual maintenance of the reflection pond in the park, the lower part of the park. That project has been completed, and we are now refilling that water reservoir as we get ready for spring and folks to enjoy the park here. This afternoon was a wonderful environment. I don't know if you had a chance to see folks as you were arriving, but a beautiful day today indeed, and a number of folks out in our park enjoying the park. There were families and young people and everyone in between enjoying some time out there. We've had folks flying kites, folks reading books, and folks sitting around the pond and around the water features. So we are enjoying this wonderful weather as we start to prepare for spring, and our facilities are being prepared as well. Looking forward to that. The last matter that I would like to share with you this evening is actually through our communications department. It is that time that we would like to share with you our annual report. As you know, we've highlighted that in years past and have now taken that to an electronic format, and we are in that format again this year. But we would like to share that with you this evening. Steve Owens, as our Director of Communications, has full responsibility for this information and the publication of this document, and so all the credit goes to Steve in getting that prepared. Many folks were involved in assembling it, but Steve has responsibility for producing it. Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Driggers. Mayor, Council, good evening. It's nice to be out of solitary for a few minutes here. I don't forgot what this room looked like. But it is very nice to be here to unveil the city's 2015 annual report. It captures in a snapshot the many projects and programs that city staff implemented during 2015, and there were a lot. In the words of one proofreader, who shall remain anonymous, these were a lot of words. And I appreciate him or her reading those. And that's one of the reasons we call this annual report Team Greer. It really would not have been possible without the efforts of many people from really every department in the city. We again are making it available as a flip book, which we have used each of the last 4 years, and it has many benefits compared to the printed version that we last sent out. I believe it's been 9 years now, printed and mailed. And some of those benefits, primarily, it's eco-friendly. We do not use a lot of paper to print this and mail this. Even with recycled paper, as it is in the publishing business right now, we save a lot of money. We're able to track the document views through analytics. We could not do that through the printed versions. We did not know if people actually sat down and read them, if they tossed it in the trash, if they put it on their coffee table for a year, which we certainly hope they did. We're not limited to a certain number of copies. We have an infinite number of views until we replace this file, which should be about this week next year, so put that on your calendars. It's available electronically to anyone who visits the city's website, particularly those who may be considering moving to the community. We get a lot of calls, or I get a lot of calls really on a weekly basis from people wanting communications, any documentations or publications we do have, so they can become better familiar with the community. The report may be viewed online. It may be printed from the online form. It may be downloaded and read as a PDF. It may be downloaded and printed. It really depends on the reader's view and his preference or her preference. Along with those reasons, a compelling argument for the flipbook format is financial. To print and mail the annual report to each home in the city would have cost, conservative estimate, $70,000 over the last 4 years. Over that same period, we've spent less than $300 on the flipbook technology. And all of those have been archived as PDF files. So it really does help. It's a tremendous cost-saving measure, and we think it adds a new dimension to people being able to read it, not only in the city, but from outside the city. I'd like to take you through some of the pages. This obviously is the inside. Very good-looking group there in the upper left. Looked good on TV tonight as well. The report, again, is broken into 3 sections. The cover, here you see an information page and the table of contents, and welcome columns from the mayor and city administrator on a couple of topics. The middle section includes news and feature stories from accomplishments over the past year. We'll flip through those. I don't want to stop too long on anything. I hope you'll take the time to come in and read it. And you'll see exactly how many projects did take place. It was a very busy year. This is the cover story on the Greer Community Master Plan. And that segues to the finance report. Obviously a spread on the city's financial position during the year, as well as in-depth departmental reports. We've also included a section you saw there on Greer Development, as well as GCRA, Redevelopment Authority. The picture there is a more current picture of McKissick Street, so we didn't plan that, honestly. You can see on the opposite page a directory that will help not only for city offices, but also for offices inside the city, such as the Gene Smith Library. We wanted to cover a wide array to make sure everyone is covered. And there's the back cover. Team Greer 2015 is currently available on www.cityofgreer.org. There's my plug. It is available on your desktop. If you'd like to use a mobile device, your phone, your tablet, you will be able to view it there. It will be a single-page view. So you lose a little bit, but on the desktop, you'll actually get the page flipping sound. It's really fun. And I'd be glad to take any questions you may have at this time.
Council.
Steve, how many views did you get on this report last year?
I have not done a total count. We were over 2,000 last I saw, which again, at least we know that. Now granted, 1,600 of those may have been me, but we like to think we're getting more than that.
We will share this with our partners through the Chamber of Commerce and their links. We also share this information with all of our elected officials, our state representative delegation, representatives from both our counties as well. So we broadcast this as broad as we can to make sure that folks are aware that it is out there. Through the link, sometimes folks will, like again, they'll go in directly and will print the document and therefore, so through the analytics, we can't really determine how much time they would have spent had they gone to the website and had literally done it only electronically. But we do know how many folks will do the downloads and how much time, if they do it solely electronically, how much time they're spending on it. And those areas that seem to be where folks have the greatest interest, because that then allows us to put emphasis the following year in those areas where we're getting the greatest amount of time or reader impact.
We're also able to gauge it on feedback, and that was tremendous last year. It allowed us to say we want to go ahead and follow up again with this format this year, and we actually started it 4 years ago on Mr. Bettis's recommendation, so we owe him.
I will proudly print one out and mail it to my dad, who will read it from cover to cover. So you know one didn't get viewed electronically, but he will read it. So.
He'll call you and say, that's a lot of words.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate all your work on that, and for Mr. Bettis's foresight, we thank him as well, too. So we appreciate it.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. With that, then, we'll move to items of old business. We've got the second and final reading of ordinance number 2-2016. This is an ordinance to change the zoning classification of property owned by Carol Rowe and Nancy Gibson located on Finley Avenue at 709 North Main Street from R12 Single Family Residential to C3 Highway Commercial. Mr. Pace?
Again, Mayor and Council, this is second read of this document. At Council's request on first read, there was the request to have this property subdivided and parcel number identified. That has taken place. You have the amended copies before you tonight, and it does reflect the portion of the property that will remain R12 and the portion that will be C3, entirely different parcels and holding their own tax map number. And again, that's all the information, new information I have in regards to this, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Pace. Entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Mr. Rowe, any additional information that you'd like to add to that?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir. Floor is open for discussion. Questions?
Mr. Mayor, I still, I know there was a great deal of concern last time about traffic. And I must admit, I didn't realize that McDade was a cut-through already. That kind of opened my eyes. But I do have sympathy for the people that are living there on Finley that it's going to change a lot traffic-wise because of this. And I think they did make a suggestion about a cul-de-sac. I'm not opposed to the subject property changing, but I would like to see if there is some kind of traffic calming we can do for them. I think it would mean a lot.
We do have ordinance in place that regulates that. We can get our city engineer to take a look and see what the perspective of that is, but we'll do so.
Others? Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Second and final reading of ordinance number 3-2016, an ordinance to provide for the annexation of property owned by KEM LLC located on South Buncombe Road by 100% petition and to establish a zoning classification of C3 for said property. Mr. Pace?
Again, Mayor and Council, you have heard the issues of this property. It did go before the Planning Commission. No one spoke in favor or in opposition to the request, and they did unanimously recommend for approval.
On the recommendation of the Planning Commission, do I hear a motion to receive?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion. Questions? Comments? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Arrowood,
Yes.
Ms. Bookert,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, we have one item of new business this evening. Well, excuse me, we've got two items. Well, first item on this last page, or on this page, how about that? The first reading of ordinance number 5-2016, an ordinance to change the zoning classification of property owned by Steve Sandlin located at 218 North Main Street from OD Office District to RM1 Residential Multifamily. Mr. Pace?
Mayor and council, in regards to this, public hearing was held on 2/15 of this year by the Planning Commission. No one spoke in favor or in opposition to the request. However, as late as about 5:45 today, did realize that a new deed has been recorded on February the 18th of 2016 for this property, and therefore the owner name change would be Jonathan E. Bettis. So that would require a strike-through and amendment before you as a proposal. But again, that information has changed recently, and I was reviewing the docket this afternoon and noticed the change, and therefore I'm recommending that change.
In that regard, then, I will entertain a amended motion to change the name of ownership from Steve Sandlin to Jonathan Bettis, Jonathan E. Bettis, and we'll entertain that motion. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Now the floor is open for discussion. Comments?
I don't have any opposition to that. I don't think that's proper.
I believe Mr. Bettis has recused himself in regards to this matter, so, others? A show of hand, is the owner of the property with us this evening, or a representative of the owner of the property? Let the record indicate no one indicated so. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Ms. Albert, Mayor Danner.
Yes. Council, first reading of ordinance 6-2016, an ordinance to provide for the annexation of a portion of property owned by Mark III Properties Incorporated located on Alexander Road by 100% petition, and to establish a zoning classification of R12 for said property. Mr. Pace?
Mr. Mayor, this is an extension of the Bellshire community that has been very popular. They are located at Alexander Road and Brushy Creek Road. Again, they are requesting the annexation of 18 additional acres with the construction possibly for 31 new homes in that area. So this will go before the Planning Commission in March for a public hearing.
By show of hand, is the owner of the property or representative of the owner of the property with us this evening? All right, so noted. I'll entertain a motion to receive.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Floor is open for discussion. Questions of Mr. Pace?
Glenn, the left-hand boundary, is that the river? Is that what that is?
Down in the bottom on the extreme left?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Don't want to go beyond the river?
Down to it.
Others?
How far is the original built out? What percentage would you say?
I haven't calculated that one out, but it's doing good. It's doing very well as far as construction, and usually what's constructed is sold, except for the model homes that are there on the property. But it's really been successful thus far.
Since we've got a representative of the owner of the property, would you like to address council in any regard as to what's going on out there? Okay, thank you. Others? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan?
Mr. Airwood,
Yes.
Ms. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Dumas,
Yes.
Mr. Bettis,
Yes.
Ms. Albert,
Yes.
Mayor Danner.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Council.
Thank you, sir. Council, we have no items for executive session. We will adjourn. We will give folks a few minutes to move around if they'd like to, and then I will call us into a workshop setting for the rest of our evening, but we want to give folks a chance to leave if they would like to do so. So don't venture too far away. Not having anything in executive session this evening.
Mr. Mayor.
We will be in Hall C.
Hall C.
Workshop will be in Hall C.
Workshop will be in Hall C. Okay, so we'll all move. With that, we're adjourned.